Hey guys, Captain here. This is a video I'm making because there's a small intermission between my usual how-to build or technique videos, but it's something I always actually kind of wanted to make, moving to a new apartment soon, and so I thought I would make some video about sorting and organizing my Lego collection. It's actually something I've never really done before, and I thought it would be a pretty cool thing to do it. So right now you're seeing a big overview of the collection. Somewhere between chaotic and sorted. I've basically been taking buckets and boxes of pieces and dumping them out and sorting them into these bins. And I thought I would talk a little bit about my process and in general, kind of how to approach sorting Lego collections. I read a Lego collection sorting guide to kind of give me an idea for good storage units. And the guide was pretty elaborate in and of itself. I'll put a link to it in the description of this video, because it really talks about good ways to approach sorting Lego collections of a lot of different sizes. And I would consider mine somewhere between medium to large. I would just rough estimate, say I probably have around 10,000 pieces here, and that's not all my pieces. It's probably about half my Lego collection. Again, rough estimate, but these are kind of the pieces I work with most commonly. And so as you can see, a lot of these pieces are in drawers. I've been sorting by element and not by color. So, you know, these drawers aren't in any like particular order, but you know, you can see 2x2 tiles. These are 1x2 cheese slopes, 1x2 panels, round plates, studs. You know, these are 1x1 brick stud and 2-side. You get the idea. So a lot of different pieces by element. And you notice I have two different types of drawers. So what I'm using are Akro-Mils drawers. There's a handful of different brands of these kind of drawer cabinets that are all quite affordable. I think if you want something in like a really hard plastic, you'll probably have to pay a higher premium. As you can see, this is kind of a flexible, soft plastic. But a 64 drawer, so I put two cabinets, one of which was a 64 drawer cabinet, and one of which was a 24 drawer cabinet that has these bigger drawers. And each of these units cost me $35 each, which is, you know, very affordable. So I figured that would be a pretty good way to go about organizing a lot of my pieces. You know, first by element and first by, and maybe by color if it comes down to it. And I think now I've kind of come to the more difficult part. I'm running out of things to obviously put away. Some of these, there's still a bunch of these, you know, 1x1 plates that I need to dump into this box and that sort of thing. But a lot of these other pieces are getting a little miscellaneous, so I need to figure out what to do about them. And I think what I'm going to do next, something I've started, for example, with this container, this is all of like the old school type hinges and the angled hinges, but instead of, you know, the nice smooth ones that we use or that we see a lot of today, like these types of hinges, kind of the older school hinges. And so as you can see, I have all sorts of varieties in there, but I just kind of figured like, well, I don't have enough of them to justify a container for every element in that category, and I also don't generally expand that part of my collection. Lego does still use them, but it's clearly a little less common than it used to be. So I figure I can put them in one container and that'll serve me well. These I'd probably have to move to a larger container, but these are all my vehicle pieces. I don't build too many vehicles anymore, but you know. And then I have a lot of pieces still in plastic bags, some of which came from purchases, some of which came from sorting more recently, and I'll figure out what to do with them from there. I did have a couple boxes of pieces, and so I used to store a lot of my pieces in shoe boxes. So for example, this was all full before, you know, up to here, and there were two shoe boxes like this that are close to empty. This one I'm going to use for large elements that don't really fit into any other categories. You know, like a 8x8 brick or this kind of car base plate. That's just large enough that I don't really want to sort it somewhere. So large elements are going to go in here. Most of these are elements I do not use super frequently. I'm going to have to just kind of hope I remember that I have them, and maybe someday down the line sort them better, maybe by color. But since I don't build with them super frequently, then it'll probably suffice just to keep them kind of in a box like that. And so that's almost sorted. Another thing I used to use were, I don't think I would call them tackle boxes, although tackle boxes are not unpopular. I would use boxes like these. So this one's getting close to empty, but you can see I still have some in here. So in the past, like this was just all sorts of like animal and robot parts and kind of miscellaneous elements. You can see some fire elements in there. You can see some lightsaber hilts. This is all sorts of Technic pins. A lot of those are emptied out, but I do have some other containers like that. So this one not being used too much, but these kinds of stowaway containers, I've used that in the past. And what I do like about them is it's a pretty easy way to kind of have some elements accessible, but what I don't like is that if you have to search through it a lot, it becomes difficult once you have a lot of some kind of element, and it also becomes easy to shake them into other containers. It's difficult to kind of pull out like all the elements you have in there, and not too easy to search for just one. Also for Technic pieces, I have a handful of Technic pieces that I'm probably going to leave unsorted, this box and some other shoebox of Technic and Bionicle pieces that I've acquired through a mix of sets and garage sales. Just gonna have to figure out what to do with them later down the line. Since I'm not much of a Technic builder, again, it doesn't matter too much to me for that to be organized. Stuff like Technic bricks I want to organize, stuff like Technic pins I still use a bit, but a lot of larger Technic elements I just simply don't use super often, so it's not that big of a deal to me. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of overview of my sorting process, and I hope to get the rest of this all sorted kind of soon. But you know, just thought I would offer some insight, and maybe that's helpful advice to some of you as if any of your Lego collections really start to expand. You know, I hope you found this video at least interesting. If you did, I encourage you to leave it a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.